Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew Pearce and Pip Thompson. Let's get back to the People's Forum, which garnered a lot of interest overnight. How did Rishi Sunak do in that hour-long forum from County Durham? Well, we're delighted to be joined in the studio by political presentation coach Graham Davies. Now, Graham has advised the likes of Sajid Javid, Kemi Badenoch and Michael Gove.
What did you think, Graham? Morning.
Well, an unlikely set of congratulations. Congratulations to GB News for smashing through the TV format sound barrier.
Yeah.
A PM, unmoderated, unfiltered, unleashed. But also bigger congratulations to Rishi Sunak for having the sheer cojones to do it.
Because it's a risk, isn't it? We were talking about this yesterday.
It's a huge risk.
If there's a big policy gaffe or a clanger, or if he was somebody in the audience took him on, but he
well, at one point, we did think somebody in the audience was going to take him on.
Well, of course, the problem for politicians is that they don't really speak to human beings all that well.
That's right.
And he did as well as any politician I've ever seen. And also, he did better than any other current MP could, including all the senior members of his own party. So he really made sure that he made the most of the occasion. And also in the current climate, bearing in mind that on your slightly small sample straw poll, he got 50% of the vote at the end. And the opposition only getting 14% of the vote.
Yeah.
At the moment, a win of any sort must be a good thing.
They need a win. And now, you've been coaching politicians here. Did you detect signs that he'd been coached?
We actually saw the raw, real, genuine Rishi Sunak last night. There were a few ticks, there were a few problems he had that actually showed that he hadn't been coached in some ways. The continuous use of the word right.
Oh, it drove me nuts.
Yes, indeed. I think he said it probably about 100 times during the 60 minutes. But the thing is, for Rishi, that is his tell in a poker sense. When he's really trying hard to get through to an individual or to an audience, that's the indication that he's making as much effort as he can.
Graham, we're talking a lot about him. We haven't seen him. So let us just zoom in on some of the highlights from last night. So this is when the Prime Minister is answering a question about Rwanda. Have a listen.
Great question. Right, I'm sure this is on all of your minds, so I might take a few extra minutes, if that's all right, Stephen, to kind of get into this properly. Look, why did I say stopping the boats was one of my 5 priorities, right? It's because I think illegal migration is profoundly unfair, right? I actually think our country is based on a sense of fairness, right? We are a people that we wait our turn, we put in our fair share, we play by the rules, right? And illegal migration actually breaks that sense of fairness. It erodes a sense of trust in our system.
He sidestepped it, really, and I heard 3 rights in that sentence as well.
Yes, it comes across as a sidestep, but remember, this is somebody who went to Stanford and Oxford. He does have a certain academic approach. He has the urge always to give the factual and intellectual context before giving an answer, especially in this format, which gives him the chance to have a lengthy answer. And unfortunately, it sometimes comes across as evasion and avoidance. And it was only in the last 30 seconds of that 3-minute answer that he really eventually got to the point.
Yeah. OK,
let's go to the next one. Now, this is possibly the liveliest part of the People's Forum. It was about
very sorry
vaccines.
to hear about
listening.
Your personal circumstances, and you said someone over here also seems to have suffered by a similar thing. Now, obviously, I don't know about the individual situation that you're in.
We're silenced.
Well,
on social media and everything.
Okay.
We are silenced. We are the most silenced people in this country.
Right.
So how do you think he dealt with that sort of challenge?
Well, bearing in mind that the chap, fortunately, was in the back row as opposed to the first row, there was a moment of sort of nuclear excitement when we thought that there might actually have been some form of physical as opposed to a verbal confrontation. The way that he dealt with it, you could actually sense that it did get through to Sunak. Any barriers that he had between him and the audience, interestingly, were rather shattered by that. And he was clearly a bit shocked, clearly a bit flustered, but got control, but he took back control very quickly. And indeed, we did see a human being managing to manage the circumstances really quite well, but not in a smooth, glib way.
We've got to ask for a mark
Mark's
out of 10. Yeah, exactly. Marks out of 10 for Sunak.
7 with bursts of 7.5 or even 8.
Ooh,
That's a
that's
success.
not bad, is it?
Graham,
Let's
will you
see
come
us
back
see
and
it.
talk to us again?
Be delighted to.